Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Joey.
And I'm Chris.
And this was our planting weekend, and we're going to tell you how our planting weekend went.
Oh boy, did it go.
So very first off, we knew we was going to need water. So we put the tote on the truck, put everything we needed, and went back to the pond. We was not expecting the pond to be as low as it was.
Yeah, it's never been this low when we needed to get water. Yeah.
So the pond, it goes back on an angle, but then it drops off. So we actually had to back up past that drop off today to be able to reach the water. We never go over that drop off. Never went over it before.
I let him do the driving. Usually I do the backing up, but going off that drop off, I let him have that experience.
We was actually worried that we wasn't going to get out of there, but we got out of there. We actually had to go down and get water twice.
Yep, but the second time I did the backing up, because we knew it wasn't too muddy, it wouldn't get stuck.
Well, that's where the mishap number one happened. After the pond, there were some ducks in the pond. And I was watching the ducks in my mirror as I was backing up. Well, for those of you that know, I have a dually, and I backed right up into a tree and tore that little bump out on my back wheel all up.
I thought you weren't going to mention that part.
That's my mess up number one. Well, then after we got back to the camp area, we had to get the tractor ready.
Right, so it still had the rock rake on the back, and we had to put the auger on the back so we could drill the holes to plant the trees in.
So we got the rock rake off, we back up to the auger, and it hasn't been, I only put that auger on like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And guys, don't laugh, but I could not figure out how to get that auger on. I was cussing. It took me an hour to get it on there. And the whole time I was trying to put it on wrong.
Operator error.
So for those of you that know and don't know, the PTO works like a coupling on an air hose. You pull it back, push it on and let go, and it snaps in place. Well, on my auger, it also pushes forward. So I was sitting there trying to push it forward the whole time. And I'm not lying, guys, I almost went home. I was so pissed off. I was screaming. I wasn't screaming, but I was hollering and cussing.
So I went to grab the owner's manual, which has a nice little compartment right there on the one of the bars of the auger. But Joey, at one point, decided to bring it home to read it and never replaced it back in the auger. So it's at home, 300 miles away. Very helpful.
So I started looking at the auger a little bit and just messing with the thing that moved up and down, and noticed that the other side pulled back. Well, as soon as I pulled that back, it slipped right on. But like I said, I messed with it for like an hour. So we got that on.
All right, so then it was time to come back to the orchard area and
get started.
We needed to mark where the holes get dug and dig those holes. This is still all Saturday, of course.
This is all Saturday, yep. So Saturday, got the tractor hooked up. They come up in the truck ahead of me, get down across the creek, and
he's driving the tractor.
I'm driving the tractor. Get the tractor across the creek and the tractor dies. Didn't have no tools. Didn't know what to do really.
You had a vice grip.
I had a pair of vice grips. But it wasn't getting no fire to the coil wire. So I sit there at least 20 minutes. Chris is saying no, but I know it was. So I sit there, couldn't do nothing, and then all of a sudden I gave it a try and it started up. So that you guys have seen my videos in the past, I got to come up that steep hill. I get halfway up that hill and the thing dies again. I thought for sure it was going to roll backwards, but luckily it must have some kind of safety feature that it didn't roll backwards on me. So I sit there for another 15 or 20 minutes. Still no sign of Chris. They never came back to make sure I was okay.
He doesn't ever keep his phone on him, so there's no way to contact him. We were waiting after we gotten back. We waited for maybe 20 minutes because he's always a little bit slower than the truck is. And then I'm like, He should be here any moment. Why is he taking so long?
So after an hour, she finally came to look for me.
Now, if I had driven to where he was at, then I would have had to back my way back out if he was on his way to me. And it's windy, twisty, and I'm not very good at driving in reverse.
And I didn't have my phone either, so I'm just sitting there waiting.
So I decided the best way to do it was to leave Ethan with the truck and a phone. I took a phone and I walked to where he should be. Or I walked the path trying to find where he was, looking off the road to see if, he fell off the road, was in a ditch. I had no idea where you were. Finally see him and he's like, "Where's the truck?" I'm like, "Where were you?"
So after that, couldn't figure out how to get started. Knew it wasn't getting no fire to the distributor. So I called up a buddy of mine.
Called Ethan to bring the truck with the tools.
First. Then we ended up having to call a buddy of mine. He gave me some ideas to try. I tried everything, he said. So he came out. I ran out. I bought a new coil, bought new cables, spark plug cables, wires, whatever you want to call them. While I was doing that, he was headed here. So he got here a little bit before me. We got here, we put that stuff on, still wouldn't fire.
At this point, we're using cell phone flashlights to light up the various parts that they're working on in order to see what we're doing, because it is after dark.
So my buddy, he told me to go ahead and buy a condenser. So we left here that night, went to the auto parts store. This was like a little after 8 o'clock.
I don't know if it was that late, but it was.
They closed at 9.
After dark, and they closed at 9, so somewhere between 7 and 9.
So we got there, bought the condenser, told him we had it. He said, okay, he'll meet me in the morning. So Sunday morning, I meet my buddy here. I got the condenser. We come back to the tractor. It's like 7 a.m. And he notices we have spark to the coil wire now. So we put it together and it cranked up.
You didn't even use the...
Didn't even use the condenser.
At this point, I wasn't with them, so I don't know what was happening.
So he said he had to go because he was heading to church. And I said, okay, I'm going to go back here and get started. I didn't make it, after he left, I didn't make it probably 100 feet. Maybe more than that, maybe 150 feet. And it shut off on me again. Well, Ethan was in the truck and he'd gone and left me again. I'm just sitting there.
You told him to.
I tried to run to catch the truck before my buddy left the property, but it was too late. He was already gone. I couldn't catch Ethan. So, came back here, got Ethan in the truck, went back to the tractor, and called my buddy, told him what was going on. He said, okay, go ahead and try to change the condenser. He said it must be getting hot or something and not working. Well, the only screwdrivers I have is this long, and the space I got to work in to put the condensers on is this big. So that was a job. I took out the points, which I'd never done before. Took out the condenser, what I'd never done before. It took me a good hour just to get the screws back in. After I had everything apart and put the new condenser on, it took me an hour just to put the condenser back in, to get the screws back in the holes. Finally got that done. Come back here.
Did the tractor work at that point?
No, the tractor did not work at that point.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I think it did.
You told me you got stuck behind the truck couldn't get out. You were stuck.
That's because he couldn't go that way.
Recording.
So both of them are correcting me. They're saying it did not start after I put the condenser in. We actually went back and sit in the truck and watched some videos. Got out of the truck and I told him to bump the key just to see if it had spark, and it had spark. So I told him, I said, okay, it's going to start now. Don't know why it's not starting and then all of a sudden it'll get spark. So I hooked the coil wire back in the distributor, cranked the key, started up. Drove it back here to the orchard area, parked it, left it run, and it ran for a good long while. Me and Ethan was getting our tools ready, getting ready to start working. All of a sudden it shut off. Went back over there, checked the spark, no spark. So still don't know what's going on. Don't know why it runs and then shuts off without getting any spark. So went and watched some more videos. Figured out that it could be a couple different wires causing it. Come to find out, it was the wire going into the ignition is what I am guessing. Because I got out of the truck, shook the ignition wires, and it's been running fine ever since. So we got the tractor running, we got the auger on, we got a couple holes marked. Me and Ethan's gonna start digging holes. Chris is working in the camper because there was no use her coming up here knowing that she was probably going to have to take off Monday and Tuesday now because we didn't get to work Saturday or Sunday.
And there was nothing I could have been doing. I would have been up here watching him try to fix the tractor.
So we got it running, marked the first holes, and we're ready to go, right? No. Because you all know how bad of a drought we've had here. The auger would not go in the ground but about 6 inches. We tried several different holes, it would not go. So then, at this point, Chris was up here. We decided to just drill holes as deep as we could, go back and fill them up with water. So at this point, we've went down and got our second tote full of water. Or is that still the first? Or is that the third?
It was the first.
That was the first one? So we started filling the water full of holes, thinking that it might loosen it up and be able to dig into it within like an hour or so. It probably would have helped if we let it sit overnight, but just for the hour, it did not make no difference. So when my buddy was here, he was already talking to me about if I need him, he's got a Bobcat and he has an auger attachment for his Bobcat. So I called him up, told him what was going on. He said, okay, he can bring it out, but it wouldn't be until Monday that he could get it all together and get it here because it was at a different job. So I'm like, okay. So Sunday was a wash. We didn't do nothing. Oh, we started laying out for the trees.
We worked the rest of Sunday.
Yes, we did.
Marking for all of the trees because we knew if the guy was coming out,
Yep.
we had to have all of the spots marked for the trees because we had
Yep.
that much time. However long he was here, once he left, we couldn't go, oh, here's a spot for another tree. Too late.
He came out and dug 117 holes. We planted 117 trees, so 117 holes, 2.5 hours he was done. It would have took me all day with the tractor probably. Okay. We was very happy. He gave us a good price, a good deal on it. We thought it was well worth it.
So Monday, we've had a little bit of marking still to do, but the guy wasn't able to get here till like 11 o'clock. He kept saying 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Doesn't matter. We were still marking when he got here,
Yep.
So it worked out perfectly.
We only had to mark like 3 spots when he got here.
Exactly. We had 2 or 3 spots left to mark when he pulled up, so it was perfect. We thought we'd have to go around and make sure while he was marking them they were deep enough. He's like, no, we'll just spray paint right here on my auger how deep you need them. Now, he did end up getting some of them way deeper than we needed.
Which is okay.
But
we just threw some dirt back in the hole and it was good to go.
so we were able to just start planting right away once he got one row, which only had 3 trees in it anyway.
Yep.
We could just start planting those trees. I already had it all laid out on my handy dandy cheat sheet, so we knew what we were planting where. We got all those planted.
I forgot what I was going to say now, but we was thinking we was going to be here for 4 days, had plenty of time, going to do this at a relaxing pace. Hell no. Come Monday 11 o'clock, it went into overdrive. We was hustling then after he started digging them holes. We stayed until Monday night, we stayed until 8 o'clock. We was planting trees by the light of the headlights of the truck and our phones.
So on Monday we planted about 50
68.
trees? 68 trees. That's right. It was 68 trees we planted on Monday. Very happy with that number.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on to Tuesday now, which is today. So today, Tuesday. We got here
About 9 o'clock this
about 9
morning.
o'clock this morning. We thought, actually, a little thing from Tuesday night. We worked till 8 o'clock.
Monday night.
We worked till 8 o'clock and it started drizzling. We looked at the radar and they was calling for rain today, which is Tuesday. We thought for sure we was going to get rained out. Luckily it only had a little sprinkle, didn't even get the ground wet, and we just kept working.
We have, oh, I feel a raindrop.
That was it. So Tuesday we came back out and we finished our planting.
Yeah, I don't know how many we did today, but we did 117 total. That includes, we had a few trees that died on us in the
first planting orchard, the first year orchard.
The first year orchard from 2020. So we had marked those for getting holes drilled, and we planted there. You see, we brought 150 trees with us. 141 trees.
Yep. Thinking we'd have plenty of room to plant them.
And then when we started laying out all the marks, we realized there's not enough marks for all the trees we brought with. So we're going to need to plant as many as we can get holes for.
Yep.
We also brought, and that, oh yeah, the 141 included the 3 grafted trees.
3 grafted trees that I bought from a Perfect Circle farm. I bought a grafted flower bomb, a grafted Yixan orange, and a grafted Pandora. Right?
Yep, those are the 3.
And those 3 are actually planted in the orchard today. We actually put tubes on those 3 trees. We don't have time to put tubes on all these trees. We just ran out of time, guys. We gotta pack up and start heading home.
Yeah, you can probably tell we're getting rained on right now.
It's starting to rain. I hope it rains a lot today.
It's about 6 o'clock at night. We have a 4-hour drive home, so.
Now we didn't get to go back and water the trees in, but as I was planting them, I did dip them in water and then drop them in the hole. That's all we got time to do.
What we could do.
I'm hoping to come back in 2 weeks, but if I have to, I'll come back this weekend. But I got to come back and get the tree tubes on the trees at some point. Yep. So that's we're not gonna wrap the video up yet, but I am gonna show you what we've done in the orchard today and yesterday.
Hopefully you can see all of these trees. They are 20 feet apart, give or take. They're all different. They're seedlings of all different cultivars. There will be a list of those down in the description. So if you are curious as to what types of chestnuts we are planting, you can read that there. Or if you have any questions, of course, you can leave a comment and we will answer your questions as best as we can.
Well guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys had a good laugh at my mishaps this weekend.
I know I did.
I didn't.
After the fact, not during them.
Seriously guys, I almost went home when I was messing with that tractor. I was about ready to give up.
And that was at the beginning.
That was just trying to get the auger on.
That was at the beginning of the weekend. But we stayed, we got all the trees planted.
Wish we'd have got them protected, but we just didn't get that far.
That'll just have to happen next time, babe.
Hopefully the deer won't be too hard on them.
Or the squirrels or the rabbits.
Thanks everybody for watching. This is going to be the end of this video. We appreciate you all for watching. We appreciate everybody for always commenting and always being here with us.
We sure do. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up.
Maybe you didn't like the video, but you just like me.
Or you might like me.
Well guys, give us a thumbs up, like this video, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.